Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today is a Tuesday that I'm filming. I have a ton of stuff to do today, but here I sit filming a video. My name is Valerie Kime, for those of you who are new. I'm a young married Mennonite girl and I'm living in Wayne County, Ohio, and I'm so glad you guys decided to come back for another video. I am going to be doing a question and answer. This past week I put a question box up on my Instagram for you guys to ask me questions for me to answer on my YouTube, and honestly guys, I am blown away by how many questions I got. Probably will not answer all of them. There were a lot and I don't want the video to get too long, but we'll see where it goes. But seriously, I got so many fun questions, and believe it or not, no, it's not a big shocker, most of them were about me and Chip. So by the way, I'm kind of like combining as many questions together as I can, so you might not hear your own individual question. It will probably be combined with somebody else's. But first question I have is, do you rent or own your house? We own it. We bought it in February. We got married in July and we own it. And it's just nice because we can kind of do whatever we want to it and don't have to worry about, like, yeah, it's not a rental. What is your advice for a new bride to be about home decor and furnishings? So when I was like picking up paint stuff and trying to decorate before we were married, I felt like I was kind of rushed on my decisions. So I guess I'm not an expert at all, but I guess what I would say to you is kind of know what your style is and what you're going after. I feel like I kind of had like my style was kind of combined. I didn't really know what my style was. I knew what I liked, but I liked a lot of things from different styles, and I just kind of mixed it. And now I feel a little bit frustrated in my house sometimes, like the color on the wall is not what I want, and like sometimes I just feel frustrated because it's just not me. And I know what me is, but I don't know how to get my house there. So I would just say take your time with decorating. It's okay if you leave your walls blank for a while till you get what you want. Make sure what you get is what you want and you're not gonna just be tired of it. Don't just go with the cheap stuff just because it's cheap. I mean, there is something to that, but that's kind of what I did. I kind of went with what was way more affordable, and it just was not really my style. What is your favorite thing about having your own home? Probably that I can do what I want with it as far as decorating goes. What are your gardening hopes and dreams? My hopes and dreams for my little garden out there are I would love to plant every year, and I want to get my kids involved in gardening and planting things and just something for us to do outside. I wanted something that I can do outside. My husband does all the landscaping and mowing and all that stuff. I was like, I want something that I can take care of outside. So that is what it is. I would love to get it bigger sometime and get more experience with the things I grow in there, and those are some of my hopes and dreams. Okay, so these are some questions that I got about my YouTube channel. The one that I got asked quite a bit was what made me decide to start my channel. And I would probably say, which I've always enjoyed watching other people's videos, and it always kind of just felt so inspiring and something fun to do. I've always enjoyed editing and things like that. So, and the other thing, I just wanted like a creative outlet, which I've talked about earlier. So that is the main thing that inspired me, and just something to pour my creativity into each week. How does your family respond to you doing YouTube? My family is actually amazing about it. My mom shares on Facebook. She always shares my videos on Facebook. She's so sweet. And two of my brothers actually have YouTube channels as well, and so they're all, like, my whole family is really supportive of it. My husband's family is supportive of it. Who are some of your favorite YouTubers and why? Well, okay, my first YouTuber that I actually started watching the most was Lynette Yoder. A lot of you guys will probably know about her. She's from Sarasota, Florida. And she was my favorite because I just loved her content. It just seemed so inspiring. At first, when I first heard about it, I was kind of like, why would you video yourself like cleaning or something? And now I do that. And somebody else I really enjoy watching is Kristen Johns. She is not a Mennonite, but she's so sweet, and her husband she's a young married lady too, and her husband were in a terrible accident actually just recently. They're both okay, but I think she's got a pretty long recovery, but she's so cute. Her house is beautiful. I just enjoy her because she's got such inspiring content and really fun. I'll try to link all of these channels in the description box because you'll definitely want to check them out. My last one concerning YouTube is, what app do you use to create your videos? Well, I film on my phone. And eventually I would love to get like a vlogging camera so I can edit on my laptop, because I guess the videos I take on my phone are not supported by iMovie or something, or I'm just not techie enough to figure it out. So I use the app called Splice. It's kind of glitchy and it has some problems sometimes, but for the most part it does a really good job. Has a wide selection of music to go with your videos, which was huge to me. I loved that. The app is totally free. You can get like a paid membership or whatever, but I have the free version and it works really good. I would totally recommend it, except sometimes when I try to save my videos, it says it's saved, but then it's nowhere on my phone. It's just a glitch it has sometimes. Are you Mennonite, and do you plan to stay Mennonite? Yes, I am Mennonite. I have been Mennonite my whole life. And as of now, I honestly don't see myself leaving. I feel very content with where I'm at with that, and I know where I stand with wearing the veil and why I wear it and stuff, and I just feel like for me, it's where God wants me to be. Me and my husband, we're on the same page, by the way, about this, but we don't see ourselves leaving. We are very happy with where we're at. What type of school did you go to? Actually, I was homeschooled all through high school. I graduated high school, and all my siblings were all homeschooled. My next youngest brother is graduating this year, and then my youngest brother, I think he's in 9th grade, going into 9th grade, I think. But my mom, bless her heart, she has, I think by the time all of us kids are done with school, she will have homeschooled for 22 years. Because I remember when she said, oh wow, I've been teaching for 11 years and I have 11 more to go. And I could not do that. Teaching is not my strong suit. But yes, I loved being homeschooled. I loved it so much. How many siblings do you have? Do you come from a large family? I have 3 brothers, that's it. I am the second oldest, and oh man, I wish so bad I had a sister. My husband is actually also, he's got 1 sister and 3 boys. So our families are the same. They're not huge families. So I'm secretly so worried that we'll never have any daughters because boys just run in the family on both sides. Do you have a job, and how many days a week do you work? I actually work at the Ashery for my dad. Ashery Country Store, it's close to like Mount Hope. I work 2 days a week, Mondays and Thursdays, and I am working like in the shipping website department. So past couple weeks I've been helping out in retail though because we're pretty busy. So I really enjoy, I used to work there full time. I've worked there since I was 17, and I really like the office side of things because it's just a slower pace, and I am the kind of person, I really enjoy like the slowness, and I don't love it when it's good for business, but I don't love it when it's so busy. It just gets so exhausting to me. I don't know, I used to be more of a people person than what I am now, I guess, which actually kind of leads me into another question was, are you more of a homebody, or do you like to go out? And if you are a homebody, what are some of your hobbies? I am more of a homebody than what I used to be, definitely. I kind of would say I'm a little bit of both now, but hobbies, I love playing the piano. I love to read, which I don't do it as much as I wish, and write and stuff like that. Those are a couple of my hobbies. I love doing YouTube stuff as well. Dream place to travel to would definitely be to Europe. That is like my bucket list. The top thing on my bucket list is to go to Europe. And we were planning to in September, and it's kind of looking like it won't get to happen due to all of the COVID stuff. And I think the European government is, as of now, not opening up to tourists, and they're gonna reevaluate, I think, the end of June. So we have to make our final decision in the beginning of July. But definitely Europe would be my top place to go to. What is your favorite thing about married life? I would definitely say my favorite thing is not having to like say goodbye. When you're dating, you have to be like, you can hang out and whatever, but then you always have to leave. I had to go home, he had to go home, and that just sucked. And I would say definitely the best thing is that you just, no matter what you're doing during the day, you always come back home together. That's my favorite thing by far. Do you want to have kids? Yes, we want to have kids eventually. We're not exactly sure when, but I guess we're praying about it, and it's what God wants, I guess, but we do want to sometime. How long did you and your husband date? We actually dated for 8 months to the day. We started dating on May 11th, and he proposed on January 11th of 2019. So we dated for 8 months, and then our engagement was 6.5 months. Did you and Chip both grow up in Holmes/Wayne County, Ohio? No. Well, I did. I grew up in Holmes County my entire life. I've lived in this area forever. Chip actually was born here and lived here. He was an Amish. They were an Amish family, and he was born here. And then when he was 10, his family moved to Florida. And he lived there for 10 years. He moved back when he was 20. His family still lives there, but he moved back when he was 20 to work for his uncle, and his uncle goes to our church. And then Chip started going to our church too, and that's how we met. And so he did not live here his entire life, but he was born here. How did you and Chip meet? Tell us about your love story. Well, yeah, like I said, he moved up from Florida, worked for his uncle, started going to our church. That's how I met him, was through youth stuff and things like that. A little bit about our love story. I have his permission to share all of this, so you don't need to worry. So, okay, I was planning to go to Bible school, and he asked me out right before I left. And then I was like, oh man, I had already liked him, and I did not. Then I was like, man, now I don't want to go to Bible school. And I'm really glad I went then. But I got back, we started dating, and I just so appreciated the way he went about it. He prayed, the way he prayed and like seeked God in the whole matter was just so encouraging. And I have a little story to share about that actually. This was right before, a couple days before I left for Bible school. I did not know he was gonna ask me out yet, but okay, so me and my dad went on a father-daughter date before I went to Bible school. And we went out for Mexican, and then we're sitting there, and Dad was like, hey, we should go to Jitters and get some coffee. That's a coffee shop. And I was like, I don't know, they're about to close. We could just go home. He was like, well, let's go over there. And so we go over there, and we get in there, and Chip and his good friend are in there. I was like, oh man, Chip is in here. And I felt so awkward. And we get in there and we get our coffee. Dad talked to them a little bit. We sat in for a little bit, and then we left because they were closing. And so I later found out that Chip told me then on our first date the story behind that. So him and his friend went to Jitters, and he prayed and he told God. He was just wrestling with, should I ask her out? Should I not ask her out? What do I do? And he was praying, and he told God, he said, God, if you want me to pursue this, then bring her into Jitters tonight. And I went in there with my dad, and he said, his friend said, when you guys walked in, Chip's eyes, he just stopped, and he froze. He knew then that he oh my, I have to ask her out now. And the funny thing is, when Dad said, let's go to a coffee shop, and I said, they're closing, let's just go home, that is so backwards. It should have been, it's normally me asking to go to the coffee shop and Dad saying, they're closing, let's just go home. But so we almost didn't go in there, and I'm like, can you imagine if we hadn't gone in there? Who knows if me and Chip would even be together today. So I just thought that story was so incredible. So we knew from the very beginning that God wanted us to be together, and so we always had that peace about it, that this is so supposed to be. And it's just the most encouraging thing when you're in a relationship too, and you know that this is where God wants you to be. Is married life what you expected? And if not, please explain. Probably the most surprising thing though to me was how much homesickness I felt. I did not expect that would be an issue because I live like a half an hour from my family. But for sure the first 4 months of our marriage, I would say, I felt I got really homesick a lot. I would cry really easily. Suddenly I was this emotional person and I never used to be. And I just felt like this is not me. And it was very weird. So that was the most surprising. That is much better now, by the way. And I would say that's probably the biggest thing I've learned since being married, which was another question, is just that, and I'm still learning it, is the learning curve between like being under my dad's authority versus being under Chip's authority. And that's been the biggest learning curve probably for me, is just the whole thing, like when something goes wrong or whatever, you call your husband, not your dad anymore. And that just felt different to me, but it's also felt really good that I actually have a husband I can call about things. What is the first thing that attracted you to Chip? Probably, I would have to say, when we were in youth, playing volleyball together, probably the biggest thing that attracted me was the way he included everybody. I was just really impressed the way he made everybody feel welcome around him on his volleyball team. And this might sound weird, but I could tell that volleyball and sports, like he loves sports, but I could still tell that that was not his top priority in life. Like, I knew where his priorities were because I knew he was a godly guy, and I just knew he had his priorities straight. And something that I have always been looking for. And while he still had his hobbies, he loved sports, I just knew that like that wasn't his life, even though it did have a huge part of him. And that was one thing I really appreciated, was just how it seemed like he had that figured out. He might disagree, I don't know. What is you and your husband's love language? I would say my top love language is gifts, giving and receiving, and his top is quality time. And learning how to speak each other's love languages is just huge in a marriage, because that's when you feel the most satisfied and taken care of by your spouse, or for me anyway, and you feel so loved. That kind of goes along with just like marriage tips somebody asked for. Not that I'm an expert, look at me, I've been married for like 11 months. But something that, and it goes for dating too, this advice is communication. And you hear it all the time, but it is so true. Like, it's the biggest part of a relationship is communication. I would like encourage anyone like dating or married to learn each other's love languages and how to speak them. Sometimes it's hard to speak one that's not yours, but it's really fascinating to learn that about your spouse or your partner or whatever. And just keep your communication open and just being honest. That is all I have, guys. I'm sorry, I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but I feel like it's gonna be kind of long. So if you made it to the end, good job. I'm so happy, and I hope you guys come back for the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. By the way, I am so grateful for this, but I am close to 1,000 subscribers. So I am really hoping to try to do a giveaway. I don't know how to do a giveaway on YouTube, how that works. I'm gonna look into it a little bit more. I'm such a rookie. But I would love to do a giveaway when I reach 1,000 subscribers to celebrate, and I'm so thankful for all of your support. And it, like I've said 1,000,001 times, it means so much to me. So I want to thank you guys for coming back and watching my videos and supporting me. See you in the next one, and have a great week. Bye.